Hello and welcome to this week's video. I wonder how you found this week. I have to say I found it quite tough. In many ways my situation's very easy. I'm still able to do some work. I've still got money coming in, which many people haven't. I'm in good health. I live very near Southampton Common, so I can go for walks, one walk a day of course, on the Common. I've even taken, rather ridiculously, to running round my garden. Now, the garden isn't big, it's quite a small garden, but when I'm in, I run round it. I've got up to 400 paces now because I'm not a natural runner, but I'm doing okay. I'm in good health. My loved ones are in good health, but I've really found it tough. I found it tough because of the clear suffering that people are having. You relentlessly, if you listen to the news or read the news or watch the news, you see stories of people dying, you see the statistics, you realise that there are so many sad things happening. Also, the economic stuff, just thinking of what the future's going to be like for people and how tough it is now even to provide. Even, you go into supermarkets and it's just so kind of difficult, because that some goods not there. That doesn't worry me. But frankly, it's just the atmosphere. The atmosphere I find really tough. And we don't know how long this is going to last for either. And we don't know how we're going to get out of this. We're told it's going to get worse before it gets better. But when will things get back to normal? And what will normal be? These are all the questions. So I found this week really tough. And one of the reasons why I found it tough is that I'm quite a planner of my year. And I'd got some great plans for this year. End of last year I was 65, and I'm aware of, you start asking yourself, don't you, how many more active years have I got? And I've really tried to make the most of the time that I have. That's one of the things that I think is so important. So I'd planned another walk through Normandy in June this year, and I'd booked it all, and realised what I was going to do, and thought about it such a lot. And then there's a holiday we got booked in September too. We're going away for an extended period, and all of those things, I don't know whether they'll happen. The June one, I can't see it happening at all. The September one, who knows? And so I've been thinking, well, that means next year, that's of course trusting that I'll still be here next year. You think, well, I'll be another year older then, and it's time that's gone, time that's disappeared. It has made me think, actually, of the generation that's lived through things like the Second World War. My parents were 22 when the war began, no, 21 when the war began, and about 26, 27 when the war came to an end. I'd never thought of the fact that they'd lost those years of their young life to the war, that's really hit me. I know there's been some viewers of these videos that live in ex-communist countries. There's people watching these videos in Poland, and for you and for the other countries, you and your parents lost years to the challenges, the difficulties and the restrictions of the communist era. So in a way, 1 year, maybe I shouldn't be self-pitying, but I am a bit. Then I'd said last week that obscure verses from the Bible hit me, and there's a verse in the book of Joel, and I've been really thinking about this. It says, I will restore the years that the locust have eaten away. And that there was a time in ancient Israel when plagues of locusts had destroyed the crops. And God's promise to Israel, he will restore the years that the locust has eaten away. So what that said to me is that, well, I've got to do my bit. I've got to do my best to keep healthy. That's why I'm running around the garden. I've got to sort of eat well and do all the sensible things that one needs to do, take exercise, look after myself, that sort of thing. Because it's important that we don't just say, oh, it's up to God then. So I've got to do the sensible things. But also there is a sense of just trying to trust God in these areas that, you know, if I don't do my walk in Normandy this year, let's trust I can do it next year. If we can't go on holiday in September this year, let's trust that there'll be other opportunities. And, you know, I'm battling with that, but that's what I'm trying to think of, and that's what I'm trying to say to myself. When I conduct funeral services, one of the passages that I sometimes read is in the 23rd Psalm. And one thing I say is this, you know, in the Bible there are 150 Psalms, but I reckon that most of us, if we know one of them, it's the 23rd Psalm. And, you know, why is that? Well, I guess it's that sense of God's love and care through all the ups and downs of life. And then taking us safely to the life to come that's been an encouragement from generation to generation. You know, the reality is some of us might die during this time. It does seem, although it's the frail people with underlying health conditions that most of the fatalities take place with. Once again, there is no guarantee, and we've heard stories this week of apparently healthy young people passing away. So none of us have any guarantees, but this passage, I think, gives hope for our days here and also for the life to come. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It's things like that, that as well as being sensible, staying in as much as we can, you know, not doing daft things, but it's hanging on to things like that that are going to see us through, not only physically, but with our mental health as well. That verse, he restores my soul. I felt this week I need my soul restoring. I'm going to finish today with something that got sent over on the internet, and there's all sorts of things. Some are more helpful than others, but this said this: when this is over, may we never again take for granted a handshake with a stranger, full shelves at the store, conversations with neighbours, a crowded theatre, Friday night out, the taste of communion, a routine checkup, the school rush each morning, coffee with a friend, the stadium roaring, come on you Rangers, each deep breath, a boring Tuesday, life itself. When this ends, may we find that we have become more like the people we wanted to be, who we were called to be, those whom we hoped to be, and may we stay that way, better for each other because of the worst. Have a decent week. Bye.